Hello everyone, welcome back to class. Today we are going to cover Chapter 9 for the global marketing topic. Chapter 9 is about entry strategy. It's a continuation of last chapter's topic. Last chapter we talked about exporting. This chapter we are going to talk about mainly licensing, strategic alliance, joint venture, and direct investments. That's full ownership. So let's do the screen share. I'll show you the slides. Okay, so for this chapter, we are going to talk about different methods of entry strategy other than exporting. Exporting is not something that we will recommend for this class. It's just doing business trade or commodity trade. We'll compare different ways of entry strategy. And then we talk about the challenges and opportunities. We then will focus on cooperative strategies. That's or sometimes we call inter-corporate collaboration. That's a strategic alliance in global marketing context. And lastly, we talk about some specific expansions strategies, market expansion strategies in the global market, especially for big companies. So first of all, trade barriers are falling. Some basic trend is trade barriers are falling, and global marketing is boosted, has been boosted, has been encouraged, has developed for centuries. For decades, not centuries, for decades. And every company has a strategy to go globally. We talk about, we probably start from exporting. If you become an experienced exporters, you focus on foreign market, and you want to have more control, more involved in business in the market, then you start to think about other ways you can get more engagement, you have more control in the foreign market. Some trends are companies are using different entry strategies. This is an example for franchising. It's a kind of licensing strategy. Starbucks is using a lot to go globally. And this is a Starbucks opened in Forbidden City in China quite a long time ago, one of the first Starbucks in China. At that time, coffee culture was not popular in China. They are very adventurous. It's almost like you opened a sushi shop in Buckingham Palace. Okay, so the Forbidden City is an imperial palace for China. And there are different ways you can do market entry, from exporting to equity stake or acquisition. Basically, you own the company. So we have mainly we'll cover here 5. But we'll add the strategic licensing to it. So exporting, licensing, contract manufacturing, or franchising, then strategic alliance, joint venture, equity, stake, or acquisition. And on from left to right, you have more and more cost involved, invest more and more money, and you also have more and more control, more and more involvement. And here's another way to look at it. It's a more concurrent way you define this. So from top down, you have internet direct sale. Basically, through internet platform, you can do exporting, importing. So basically, exports and importer will be exporting business. Distributed special type of exporting. And the direct sales is kind of a specific way of exporting. You have you sitting in your home country and direct sale to other country through your website or through your company office, main office. But all these, the above, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, mainly will be exporting. Okay, classified as exporting. Then next tier is licensing, franchising, and then there's a special form called a strategic alliance. Then you have joint venture. Then you have direct foreign investment. Or sometimes people call foreign direct investment. It's the same thing. So from top down, you have more and more control, and the greater risk, and more and more investment, for sure. We'll talk about that one by one. Which strategy you're going to take mainly will be depending on your vision. You have a long-term plan, short-term plan, attitude toward risk. Are you going to take more risk? Do you expect more controls? Then do you want to spend more money, or do you have the resource to do it? So licensing, basically you allow somebody to use some of your proprietary resource or rights or secrets to do something. So we talk about the definition of a patent, trademark, and I think special terms for intellectual property. So what you can license can be a patent, some kind of technology, trade secrets related to that technical know-how, brand name, that's the trademark, or formula, product formulations or formulas. So production technology, special technique, and so on. So you allow somebody to use these for business purpose and collect something like a royalty or licensing fee for that. Examples will be like AT&T is licensing a lot for their brand name or technology for other people to use. Then in high tech, like smartphone, telecommunication business, companies always allow other people to use your patent, but they pay the fee to you. So it's kind of licensing. Advantage to licensing is, well, you see Walt Disney is doing a lot, or some companies with artistic production, they allow other people to use the design and so on. Marvel is using a lot for other people to produce derivative products. So that will provide additional profitability if Walt Disney doesn't allow people to use their cartoon image and so on. It's the cartoon image that's sitting over there without exploiting more profit potentials, right? Providing methods for circumvent tariff quotas and other export barriers. If some people will charge you if you export product over there, one alternative is to, well, just to give somebody in the target country the permit to produce your product and sell locally, so you don't have to pay tax. Attractive for return on investment because you can collect a royalty, basically losing nothing. You don't pay any investment, make any investment. So return on investment to return is positive, investment is almost zero. So your ROI is high, low cost to implement. You don't spend serious money on that. Disadvantage, you have limited participation. You allow somebody to use a patent, use technology for production, distribution, then you lose the control. Returns might be lost. People might abuse the rights. They use it more than they need, and they exploit more of the financial profitability and so on. So that kind of return theoretically can be yours if you participate more, but you just lose it because you don't have the control for using that. lack of control. It's related to that. Licensee may be competitors. Somebody is using your licensed technology. Later they can change or do a little modification for the technology, and they can run another company to compete with you, make similar products with similar technology, right? And the licensee may exploit company resources. Walt Disney give you the license to use a logo, use cartoon design for making products, and Walt Disney is doing a lot of promotion, advertising, create a lot of awareness and popularity. Then the licensee just take a free ride for that. Right. Special licensing agreement, contract manufacturing. When I talk about Nike, Adidas, they focus on designing, marketing, distribution of products, but they don't focus on manufacturing. They just contract somebody to do the manufacturing, give them the material, designate, or sometimes designate the material and ask them to produce a product using the material, and they use that design. So allow them to use a design to produce a product and brand it. Okay, so this is contract manufacturing. Franchising is a full set of licensing. You're not only licensing the product formulation, but also the management, the procedure, equipment, marketing and service routines, and so on. So Starbucks is one example. You franchise a Starbucks shop, you get a Starbucks all kinds of brewing technology. You use a designated coffee sauces, and you use their recipe. You use even their equipment. Everything is from Starbucks, and you probably have to follow their franchise has to follow Starbucks management or service routines and norms, and subject to their monitoring and auditing. And in return, you pay a fee, you get a revenue, you take advantage of their brand name, their recipe, their awareness, their popularity, and you pay a fee for them. But it's a rapid expansion strategy for Starbucks, because you don't have to put money to open the store here and there. You just give them a set of technology rights and management system. You do a little bit manage quality assurance, then you collect money back. A decent amount of the percentage of the commission or revenue will be there for you to collect. So it's a fast way for Starbucks, and low risk, relatively low risk way to do expansion. Some questions for franchising: do local consumers will buy your product? How tough is the local competitors? Will the local government accept or respect your brand name, and so on? Profit, can that be repatriated, can be remitted back to you easily? Can you buy the supplies? If you have a franchise store in Vietnam, do companies over there have the capability, have the resources for some consumables or supplies? Commercial space available and affordable, easy to rent and affordable to rent. Local partners, financially sound, do they have the resources to open the store and run it independently, and so on? So you have to think about that. If all the questions are passed, then probably this is a good opportunity for franchising. Investment. Okay, so far you don't have to put money, you just allow somebody to do it, and that's licensing. Now you have to seriously put your money for a business entity in a foreign country. You can put part of the money for the entity that's joint venture, or majority equity stakes. That means the shares. of the company, share of the ownership of the company you own. Or you start up a new operation just with your own money. You have 100% ownership, sole ownership, or you acquire. There's an existing business. You don't start from scratch. You just buy this business. It's called acquisition. Joint venture and the minority or majority equity stakes, both you own part of the company, but joint venture, you only work with limited number, 2, 3, maybe 4 people, very small number of people to own the company. You involve more in the management. Equity stakes, not necessarily you will get engagement or involvement in the management. You just own part of the company, part of the share, but since you have the share of the company, you have influence in decision making, directly or indirectly, and these can be the difference. Okay, some examples for joint venture, like in automobile industry, GM is doing that a lot in different countries, China, Japan, India, and other companies, Ford, Chrysler, they are doing the same thing. So you work with someone to jointly open a venture and jointly manage it. But at the same time, you can just go there and buy percentage of the share. You don't have to get very much involved in the management directly. Or there are too many people owning the share. It's a public company, you just own part of the share. But your share is really significant and they will have some influence on the management or decision making for that enterprise for your benefits. Okay, some examples also in the automobile industry. We will focus on joint venture because you get more involvement in the decision making. Like you work with somebody to set up a company in the target country. For example, I worked in a company. It's a joint venture between Unilever, that's like P&G, European version of P&G, and the Chinese company, consumer chemical company. They produce the joint venture, especially produce detergent, and they try to sell it in China market. So the Unilever side, they provide the formula, a leading brand in Asia called Omo. It's almost like Tide from P&G. Very leading technology to manufacture detergent. That was back in 1990s, okay, more than 20 years ago. When I graduated and started to take the job, I worked for that company, very close to the management, top management. So the Chinese part will provide distribution, manufacturing, and they co-managing. They were co-managing the manufacturing facility, but marketing side or the marketing or promotional side was controlled by or managed by the Unilever, the foreign investment part. Distribution side mainly rely on the Chinese party. So it's a joint venture. Both parties, you complement with each other, provide a supplementary contribution to the business, like technology, manufacturing, marketing from the European side. Chinese part provide distribution, government relationship, labor supply, manufacturing facility, land assets, all these things. Okay, so they collaborate with each other. So this is joint venture. Each party put decent money. Like at that time, Chinese government only allow foreign enterprise to own less than 50% of the joint venture. So Unilever get 49 and the Chinese party get 51. So that's a kind of local protection, very interesting. So the advantage for joint venture allow for share of risk. Both parties share the risk, opportunity to learn new environment, Unilever learned new environment for a Chinese market. That's one of the biggest market in the world, probably the biggest consumer market in the world. Provide opportunity to achieve synergy. You provide the complementary contribution to the entity. It's 1 + 1 is equal 3, maybe. Okay, you create something that your competitors won't be able to obtain. Maybe the only way to get around the barriers. That is true. If you do a foreign investment in China, you will expose to a lot of government constraint, restrictions at that time. Okay, so that is true. At least you cannot get your product into the distribution system at that time. Distribution system were all controlled by state companies, state-owned enterprises in China. That because it is China, it's underdeveloped economy over there. It's a state-controlled economy. So the disadvantage for that is more. You need more investment. You share reward as well as risk. You must share reward as well as risk. That's true. Requires strong coordination. Yes, definitely. If both parties you have conflict, then it's bad. Partners, if they learn your technology, there's always experiential learning. They don't need you in the future. They can become your competitor after the joint venture finished, right? Another way to do is if you have full ownership, you want to get full ownership, full control, that's okay. You start your own operation from scratch, or you merge with another enterprise, basically. Merge, then you have control. It's almost like indirect acquire, right? So big ones, big fish, they eat small shrimp, call it merger. Acquisition is you don't have anything over there, you just go there and acquire the whole business. For acquisition, I have to say it's a kind of unfair competition because the big companies, they have advantage. It's always fish eat shrimp, not shrimp eat fish, right? So always the advantage is gravitated toward the big companies, but it's a trend. Go to a new market, you don't want to start something from scratch. It takes time for a company to grow. You just grab and buy some company immediately, put into your umbrella and start the operation. Then it's a way that you can get away from all kinds of barriers, tariff, quota, and so on, because you own a company locally operated in the target market. Alternatives for market entry. You have all these alternatives I listed. We haven't talked about strategic lines, we'll talk about next, but you can use one or multiple ways to do it. Like Borden, the company, they are using multiple ways to distribute to Japanese market, direct exports, they set up a factory and they produce locally. Okay, next we are going to talk about strategic lines. Strategic lines, it's just equal. I mean horizontal. The relationship is horizontal. Equal collaborative agreement between two companies to work for the same objective for it. It's that you don't have to set up a physical entity. It's just an agreement between two companies Licensing, you have one that is dominant. I'm here. I have high nose, and I just give you the right to do it. So it's almost like hierarchical. You pay money to me, but the strategic alliance, we are equal. Like students get into group work, everyone is equal. It's pure collaborative. Relationship is horizontal. There are different terms for it: collaborative agreement, strategic alliance, global strategic alliance, strategic international alliances. It's everywhere. Some characteristics or nature of it: your independence. Outside these agreements, you work on your own. But with the scope of this alliance agreements, you two work together. You share the benefits of alliance, but you have to set some rules and agreements for profit or benefit sharing. You make ongoing contribution for technology production and other key strategic areas. Normally, there's a kind of synergy will created. Both parties will contribute to specific parts of the alliance. And the alliance, normally, it's agreement for a period of time, and both parties should make continuous contribution for it. The reasons will be opportunity for rapid expansion into new market. Work with somebody in the target market and immediately can bring a lot of things to the new market. Access to new technology. Someone owns new technology, you don't, and we can work together. Production innovation. It's the same thing. I cannot produce, probably you can produce. Okay. And the reduced marketing costs. If somebody's got a lot of exposure, experience in the target market in terms of marketing, I can save a lot of money. You bring a lot of benefits to me. In return, I bring all these contributions to the task. Competitive move. Other companies are all doing alliances with some kind of company in the target market. If I want to compete, I have to be strong. I have to occupy all kinds of resources, capabilities, and I have to follow it to do alliance with someone. You get additional resources for products and capital because someone over there, they have something you don't own. So there's a reason for collaboration. Here are some examples I want to show you for strategic alliance. For example, Google and Ford in 2021, they have alliance for 6 years. They want to collaborate on bringing clouding technology, Android operating system, improve the wireless connectivity for automobiles made by Ford. So you see both parties, they contribute to different parts. Google contribute all this technology part, right? Connecting technology, telecommunication technology. Ford is making car. They collaborate. Both will contribute to the final product of a fancy car with high connectivity. They cannot do it by themselves because all the technology, telecommunication technology is owned by Google, and Ford cannot develop it. Ford can make cars, but Google cannot. Pfizer and the BioNTech, for COVID-19, they co-develop. They started an alliance in March 2020 to develop vaccine for COVID. So Pfizer is a pharmaceutical company. BioNTech is pharmaceutical. It's a biotech company, so they provide the technology for immunotherapy, immunotherapy. So they are biotech. They have the technology, but they don't know how to manufacture. They don't own the manufacturing facility. They don't know how to get the materials to make the vaccination. They don't know how to distribute it. They don't deal with the government relationship or marketing of their product. So they have to work with Pfizer. But Pfizer doesn't necessarily own the cutting edge biotech to develop the vaccine. So both parties work hand in hand. Okay. Another one is airline companies. They all have territory coverage. So if I want to serve customers from traveling from America to all over the world, but American Airlines, I cannot reach every corner of the world. I just work with somebody, and we start a kind of alliance. So this is a Star Alliance membership, basically cover all over the world. And there are two other big airline alliances, SkyTeam and Oneworld, operates in a similar way, but with different set of airlines. So these are strategic alliances. It's complementary resource contribution, technological capability contribution. Okay, we talk about attributes of true GSP. You should develop a joint long-term strategy. That's true. Relationship is reciprocal. I help you, you help me. I contribute to it, you contribute as a return, right? Vision and efforts are global. We want to work on international market. Horizontal relationship, we are equal. There's equality in a relationship. You don't give command to me. I don't order you, give orders to you. When competing in market not covered by alliance, we are independent. So within the agreement, we are collaborators. Outside the agreements, we work independently. So success factors, we should have a mission, mutual needs or advantage. We have the common mission. We have a good strategy to work towards the objective, the task. We should have a very efficient governance, reach consensus, we follow the norm, relationship is equal, and we should have a kind of culture, melting culture for this strategic alliance. If there's any culture conflicts, then we have to solve it. We should have an agreed culture, beneficial culture to the collaboration costs. And organization should have innovative structure and design. Normally, we don't, strategic alliance don't set up an entity, so work in a loose manner, or maybe work, set up a kind of lab or work together over there, or invite people to, if I join a collaboration, a strategic alliance with someone, I have a big lab, invite a team from other party to my lab to work, but we don't seriously, physically start an independent entity. But the management structure is case specific, it's alliance specific. You can work separately or you work jointly. Management should have the same vision, should have a common commitment, should build up the trust and the credibility. Some problems. Then the strategic alliance will be doomed. If you have a different dream, I want to get your technology, you want to get my distribution system, and that's a goal for the strategic alliance, that's bad. The collaboration is not going to be successful, or the benefits cannot be maximized. Each one should make a continuous contribution to it. So you contribute, I contribute. There's reciprocity, right? Difference in management philosophies or culture conflicts, managerial vision is different. Then you just lower the efficiency for management. No corporate memory. This means that, well, if you think this is a continuous course, I will do strategic alliance, and after that, I want to learn something from it. After the agreement expires, finish, then I have to learn something from the collaboration. But if I always lose my memory, I cannot keep all the things or the knowledge I learned from this alliance. This alliance won't contribute to you in the long run. One reason can be you always have the brain drain for your company. You always lose cost, staff, then you just lose corporate memory, because when they leave with the knowledge, the experience they get by working in the collaborative alliance, or working all the time they spend in your company. So a brain drain can be one reason you lose corporate memory. For putting Asian environments, there are specific type of alliances set in Asia. Normally there will be two variations. One is for Japan. Both of them have commonality, like you get the big bank involved, so financial resource is huge. But in Japan, normally you will see something called carrots. It's carrots, so original Japanese should be carrots. It means a series of company, a group of company. Normally, the company will be hinged on bank ownership and the cross ownership of stock between companies, or among a group of companies, or between you and the suppliers, or between you and your customer. So upstream and downstream, you have joint ownership and alliance. There are big six carrots in Japan. They are very giant group of companies. How they own each other, you look at this map. These are big companies, okay? They own each other by share, okay? Financially own each other's share. They work closely with each other. And when they have a competitive, they just jointly compete in the market. And which makes you strong is if you are in a business, you have joint venture, you have alliance with something close to vertical integration, but you don't own 100% of your downstream. For example, Toyota, you don't own your supplier. You don't own all your suppliers, but you own percent of your suppliers. So the benefits of you and your suppliers just go together. And you can also jointly build up a relationship with Honda as well, okay? Because they might own part of the suppliers as well. So it's like a snowball. Every piece of the flake, they connect with each other, and they jointly they become a ball, very powerful. So this is for automaker. But then automaker and their suppliers, but also you can have alliances with the distribution members. So this is a Japanese style. In Korean, normally it is manifested in a family business. So a family will become a kind of table, okay? Or it's like a different version of carrots. It's family-owned carrots, but every table is in the group company. They are backed by the bank, so financially they have very rich resources, and it's a group of company across different industries, or have vertical integration to some extent for some industries, become very competitive. They almost dominate, monopolize the industry sectors. You see big companies like Samsung, LG, Hyundai, Daewoo. You see all these names, right? At least I'm very familiar with all these names. They represent a big chunk of Korean GDP. 21st century cooperative strategic alliances, they cover a lot of industries, but mainly high-tech industries. You have more and more complementary collaboration going on. Two types of strategic alliance, super alliance. Like airline industry, you have 3 super big alliances and have coverage of the whole world for their business. And the virtual cooperation, sometimes you don't even have to see each other, meet each other to get into the agreement. This happened in our daily life, like traveling, okay? If you want to book a trip to Asia, like going to Bali Island in Pacific Ocean, okay? What you will do is you go to a local travel agency, you sign up a deal with them, and then you get you sign the deal with your local agency, maybe in New Mexico, and they book everything. They contact the other party, which they have virtual cooperation in Bali Island. What will happen is you get all the ticket reservation information through your local agent, and then you get onto the airplane, you land it in Bali Island, and your New Mexico agency is partnering in Bali Island. They will take care of your whole trip accommodation over there, and vice versa. Someone from Bali, if they want to visit New Mexico to see the land of enchantment, then the Bali travel agency will make the booking arrangement virtually with New Mexico travel agency, and the guests from Bali will get onto an airplane landing in New Mexico, and New Mexico travel agency will make all the arrangement for their trips and the stay in New Mexico. So the 2 travel agencies, even though they are far away from each other, they can work virtually, and the internet just facilitates everything. So this is a kind of virtual cooperation. You don't have to even meet together, work together, hand in hand, or set up a physical entity. So it's a kind of loose coupled collaboration. So these are the trends. So these different entry strategy will fit into your market expansion strategy here. Remember, we talk about product market strategy. So you have market development, you have market development, you have diversification strategy. And very similarly, you have market, you have country concentration, you have narrow focus, you have country focus, you have country diversification, and you have global diversification. So you just get your own optimal strategy for the market expansion and use the right way to enter into different specific market. Remember, we cover exporting, we cover next level is licensing, strategic alliance, joint venture, and direct foreign investment. These are the 5 entry strategies we considered, and they vary by control, by requirement of capital, by risk, etc. That's all for Chapter 8 and Chapter 9. Thank you for watching. See you next time.